Speed Station welcomes you to Dover International Speedway for the running of the Drydene 400. After David Reagan's actions at Watkins Glen, he has been suspended for one race and replaced by Chase Briscoe for this one event. Daytona 500 pole sitter Erik Jones wins the pole above Kyle Larson, Daniel Suarez, Aric Almirola, Alex Bowman, Austin Dillon, Jimmie Johnson, Denny Hamlin, Paul Menard, and Matt DiBenedetto round out the top 10.
Driver, start your engine!
We have a 160-lap race. Stage 1 concludes on lap 40, and Stage 2 concludes on lap 80. And we are green at Dover. Jones already gets the jump above Larson going into turn 1. Daniel Suarez right on his back bumper. Erik Jones will lead lap 1. The top 3 is Jones, Suarez, and Bowman, with Alex Bowman looking to the inside of the 41 for second. Suarez being hung out of line has now fallen to 4th, with Larson challenging for second spot with the 88 car. Larson going low on Bowman and has now taken second position, with the 2 orange vanilla Coke cars going second and third. The 42 looks low on the 20. In through turn 1, dives it in, but the 41 gets the advantage on the inside as the 42 tried to go too hard into 1. We have a yellow. Oh, a massive crash. Several cars upside down. The 95, the 43. As we race back to the yellow, Daniel Suarez is the leader, above the 88 of Alex Bowman and the 42 of Kyle Larson. Oh, and Suarez wrecks under yellow. What is this move? You got the race lead. You wreck into your own teammate and plow a wall head on. Under caution. So into turn 1, William Byron gets clipped by the 22 car of Joey Logano into the outside wall, but slides right back into the lane of traffic, taking out the 31, the 17, the 10, the 95 especially, the 14. 95 violently flipping above the 10 car of Aric Almirola. The 43 does a front flip above the 54. First car out of the pits is Alex Bowman, above the 42 car of Kyle Larson, Erik Jones, and Austin Dillon. I know the race isn't over, but so far we've had 6 flips at Dover this year. After only 10 laps, we have 25 cars still running. And we are back green on lap 12. A good restart for the 42 car of Larson, right on the back bumper of the 88. Larson and Bowman are side by side down the front straightaway. Into turn 1, it looks like Larson will take the spot. Bowman goes way wide in turns 1 and 2. Fallen almost 8th already. Paul Menard is driven up to 2nd. Look at Happy Harvick already into the top 5. Almost 4 wide, and Kurt Busch almost lost the car. 4 wide now through turns 3 and 4. Keselowski backs out. Close racing going on early in the race. And now the top 5 is Kyle Larson above Paul Menard, Austin Dillon, Denny Hamlin, and Kevin Harvick. Austin Dillon has now taken second spot off of Paul Menard. Hamlin goes low on Dillon and has taken second, with Kevin Harvick following suit to go up into third. Hamlin trying to work his way under the 42. Paul Menard dives it into turn 3 and has taken third spot off of Kevin Harvick. We're now halfway through stage 1. Harvick has now gotten around Menard and is up to third. The top 5 trying to break away from the rest of the field. Harvick going low on the 11. Into turn 1, Kevin Harvick slides up to the middle groove of the racetrack, but has taken second spot. Erik Jones is now trying to take third. Lap traffic in front of the leader. Misses the lane going into turn 3 and has allowed Harvick to drive up on the inside. And Kevin Harvick is now the leader. Kyle Larson has already fallen almost 4th. Erik Jones, using help from lap traffic, has now retaken the lead. Joe Gibbs Racing leads the field with the top 2 being Jones and Hamlin. Hamlin's got to run on the 20. Tried to go low, but the 20 cut him off. Kyle Busch moves Paul Menard out of the way to take 4th spot. Hamlin goes low on the 20 and has now taken the lead into turn 1. The top 3 now have the lap car of Chris Buescher to deal with. They go 3 wide for the lead. Larson dives in on the bottom and has now taken the lead. And the white flag is out in stage 1. And off of turn 4, Kyle Larson will win stage 1. In Chase Briscoe's first career Cup Series start, he currently runs in 17th position. And the first car off pit road is Kyle Larson, above Erik Jones, Denny Hamlin, and Kevin Harvick. And we are green for stage 2. Hamlin already trying to go low on the 20. Through turn 1, he has now taken second spot. So now Harvick has ended up taking third spot off of Jones as well. Now Harvick goes low on the 11 and is now taken second. So the top 5 is now Kyle Larson above Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., and Erik Jones. Harvick's able to corner just a little bit better than the 42 center off. There might have been contact between the 42 and the 4 mid-corner. Harvick goes low on the 42 and is now taking the lead. Hamlin goes low on the 4. And Denny Hamlin is now the leader. Truex going low on the 11. Trying to swap the lead back and forth. And Martin Truex Jr. is now the leader, although Hamlin fights back on the outside. Hamlin led that lap, but Truex will take the lead into 1. Oh, contact between the 11 and 4 cars. Denny Hamlin is around on the back straightaway. Caution is out. Oh, he gets rammed by the 6, the 12, and the 21, and Denny Hamlin is now out of the race. Martin Truex Jr. is the leader, above Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, and Kevin Harvick. Harvick just dumps the 11 off the back straight, turns him straight into the inside wall, turns the car around. As he slides down the racetrack, gets clipped by Alex Bowman, then by Ryan Newman, Ryan Blaney, and high centers it on the banking. And the guy who caused the caution, Kevin Harvick, will get off pit road first, above Martin Truex Jr. and Kyle Larson. And we are back green on lap 60. Truex already looking low on the 4. Going into turn 1, Martin Truex Jr. now holds the lead. Larson already going for the spot, down the back straight. 3 wide for the lead with Kyle Busch on the bottom. Forces Larson up and has now taken the lead. Truex has to get way out of line. Has lost about 5 or so spots just in that corner alone. Harvick back to the low side under the 18. Kyle Busch will lead that lap. But Harvick will take the lead. Larson dives to the inside on Harvick. On the front straight, they're side by side, but into turn 1, 42 car now holds the lead. Kyle Busch dives in on the 2 car and has now taken up second position. Joey Logano now up into third, above his teammate Brad Keselowski and Austin Dillon. Chase Briscoe, in his first career Cup Series start, currently runs in the top 10. And Brad Keselowski is now taken up third off of his teammate Joey Logano. I thought the damage would affect Menard. He just went 3 wide on the inside, is now back up to 7th. Larson has a bit of a controlling lead over the 18 of Kyle Busch. He's now out to a half second between the 42 and the 18. Kevin Harvick has now taken up third spot after passing Joey Logano on the inside. Kyle Busch gained a lot of ground on the 42 that last lap. Got the gap almost down to 0.2 of a second. Lap car of Chastain has allowed the 18 to close the gap. Still can't quite get there. And Busch goes low on Larson. We have a yellow flag out. Yellow flag is out. Paul Menard is wrecked under yellow. Chase Briscoe involved. Michael McDowell also involved. In his Cup Series debut, was running as high as 10th. Briscoe is now out of the race. And at the line, this was for stage 2. Kyle Larson is the winner. Martin Truex Jr. turns Joey Logano going into turn 1. Maybe a rivalry from last year. And the same way the first wreck happened, cars start piling in, including Jimmy Johnson and Eric Jones. First car out of the pits is Kyle Larson, above Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick. We now have only 9 cars on the lead lap and 12 cars running. I can't explain to you how happy I am that this racetrack only gets 1 race next season. And we are green for the final stage. Busch trying to get a run on Larson. The Kyle and Kyle show. Larson trying to redeem himself after ramming the pit road wall in the spring. With only 12 cars on track, they're still pulling 3 wide moves in the back. Kevin Harvick on the inside of the 18 is now taken second. Harvick's got a great run on the 42. Tries to look inside, but now goes low. And Kevin Harvick is now the leader at Dover. Larson's got a bit of a run on Harvick. Larson going to the inside of the 4. Through turn 1, he has now retaken the lead off the 4 car. And they're trying to swap it back again with Harvick going on the inside of the 42. Retaking the spot. With only 9 cars on the lead lap, they're still able to battle for the lead. The gap between Harvick and Larson is extended almost out to 1 second. This is starting to look like a K&N East race. Reed Sorensen currently runs in 9th, which may be his best run since driving a car sponsored by Target. Harvick gets blocked by lap traffic through turns 1 and 2. Once again gets blocked by J.J. Yaley this time. Allowed Larson to gain ground on the 4-car. And another big accident. Brad Keselowski's around along with Kurt Busch and J.J. Yaley. Kevin Harvick is the leader above Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch. Truex needed a yellow, so he turns the 7-car into the outside wall. Slides back down the racetrack. And gets impacted by the 2-car of Keselowski and the 1 of Kurt Busch. Larson has just beat the 4-car off of pit road. So Kyle Larson will have the lead above Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, and Martin Truex Jr. Well, now the 7 and 2 cars have retired, so we went from having a K&N East Series race to an Indy Lights race, because we're now down to 10 cars with only 9 on the lead lap. And we are back green with only 52 laps to go. Larson gets another good jump above the 4-car going into 1. Harvick and Larson are pitting. I'm not sure what kind of strategy this is, but it turns the race lead over to Kyle Busch above teammate Martin Truex Jr. Now Martin Truex Jr. trying to go to the inside of the 18 and has now taken the lead. Kevin Harvick with that terrible pit strategy is now fallen 2 laps down, and Kyle Larson is 1 lap down. We now have only 6 cars on the lead lap. The gap between Truex and Busch is now out to almost 9/10 of a second. Busch really gained some ground that lap, now back down to 6/10. Martin Truex Jr. has got the lap car of Ross Chastain to deal with. Truex will get by Chastain cleanly. And Truex has gotten blocked by the 37 of Chris Buescher. That did allow the 18 car to gain a little bit of ground, but still the lead is over 1 second. Truex has now put 6th place Reed Sorensen 1 lap down. When a race has less than 15 cars running with only 20 laps to go, there will be an all-star style restart late in the race. The gap between Truex and Busch is now out to 3 seconds. And the caution is out for an all-star style restart. Remember, this rule was put in directly after the Texas race when most of the field wrecked out. And Martin Truex Jr. will lead us back to the yellow. And Kyle Busch will beat Martin Truex Jr. off of pit road with Chase Elliott in 3rd and Kurt Busch in 4th. And we are back green with only 9 laps to go at Dover. Kyle Busch already trying to set up a move past the lap car of Kevin Harvick. Truex has got to run. And Truex forces his way onto the inside of the 18. Into turn 1, Martin Truex Jr. will retake the lead. Busch reset up the run. Looks to the low side. Forces his way under the 19. They are side by side down the back straight. And Kyle Busch will retake the lead. Truex and Busch, nose to tail. Only 3 laps to go. Truex has started to fall off a little bit off the 18. But the 19 really dives it into turn 1. Right back to the back bumper of the 18. And the white flag is out for Kyle Busch. Truex tries to make a move to the inside. Dives in low. and has retaken the spot. Busch tries to retake it. Coming to the start-finish line, Martin Truex Jr. will win at Dover. Our closest finish of the season. Martin Truex Jr. wins his 6th race of the year, 2nd in a row above his teammate Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, Kurt Busch, Corey LaJoie, Reed Sorensen, Kyle Larson, Kevin Harvick, Chris Buescher, and Ross Chastain. With Martin Truex Jr.'s 6th win of the year, Harvick's point lead has finally been cut significantly, now down to only 42 points. Kyle Busch moves up 1 position in points to 6th, Larson moves up 2 positions up to 7th, Chase Elliott moves up 2 up to 8th, but Daniel Suarez falls 4 positions, now down to 10th. In the playoff standings, Eric Almirola has now been forced out 23 points below the cut line, with Kurt Busch moving up 23, Paul Menard moving to 28 points above the cut line, and Joey Logano 41 points above the cut line. Next race is at Daytona International Speedway, the final race before the playoffs. Catch it right here on the Speed Station.